In our first story tonight, Cal Bank is going ahead to transfer funds from its surplus income accounts to help with the recapitalization. This follows approval by shareholders in order to help meet the December deadline set by the Bank of Ghana. At its annual general meeting in Accra, the bank also secured approval to increase the authorized share capital of the bank from 1 billion ordinary shares to 2 billion. Ebenezer Sabate has more in the following report.
Approved recommendations by Cal Bank Board and ordered for a transfer of 250 million cedis from the income surplus account to stated capital. This is expected to increase the bank's stated capital to 350 million cedis and make up the difference through operational results. Meanwhile, the last time the board paid dividends to shareholders was in 2015 at a cost of 53 million cedis. Frank Edu Jr. is the managing director of the bank.
That basically allows us to in total transfer 250 million cedis from income surplus to stated capital. So now our stated capital goes to 350 million cedis, which puts us 50 million cedis short of the Bank of Ghana limit of 400 million. Now, if Bank of Ghana would allow the banks to do an interim audit during the course of the year, then we would be able to come even next month, be able to transfer another 50 million out of income surplus, because as we speak right now, at the end of March, our income surplus per our management accounts as published in the newspapers was 310 million cedis. Okay? If we take 300 million from that, which is the 250 plus 50, we would meet that 400 and still have 10 million in income surplus. So effectively, we have met the 400 just by those transfers, but we have to defer the 50 million until after the audit of 31st December 2018.
In 2017, Cal Bank recorded a profit after tax of 145.2 million Ghana cedis. According to the board chairman of Cal, the results underline the efficient deployment of the bank's resources and use of right technology in pursuit of its digital transformation agenda. In an interview with Joy Business, some shareholders expressed mixed feelings about the move by the bank not to pay dividends.
I'm not worried at all because I know what the regulators expect from these banks. For 2 years running that shareholders have not been getting dividends, the bank has been performing very well. Incidentally, that has rather made their share price to move up. So for the dividends, I'm even happy if they don't pay dividends and that the return is reflected on the share price.
Actually, they should try and give us some dividend, because the dividend that they are giving is too small. And yes, they are not giving it out. And they haven't informed us that they are not giving us any dividend, which is not very fair, actually.
At least they are giving you a bonus of, 1 share after.
Yes. Well, that one is okay, but it's not enough. They should add more to it.
As a substitute to dividend payments, the board has recommended a bonus issue of 1 share for every 7 shares held.
The Ghana Revenue Authority in the Ashanti region is anticipating increased revenue by the end of the year. 2017 statistics indicate the region contributed only 4% of the total revenue collected annually. To enhance tax collection and to spearhead tax education, the GRA has engaged the Information Service Division and the National Commission on Civic Education. Assistant Commissioner of the GRA, Samuel Sechidodu, says the initiative is yielding positive results.
At this year's press soiree in Kumasi, the Ghana Revenue Authority interacted with the media on new tax policies and how to educate the public of them. Questions on a tax identification number and the excise duties were paramount among media persons. Assistant Commissioner of the GRA in the region, Samuel Sechidodu, reviewed how the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, has helped to spearhead the tax education in rural areas. He is impressed how the initiative is yielding positive results.
We use the Foreign Service Department and the National Council for Civic Education. When the Foreign Service vans go around the whole country, the nooks and crannies of the country, they spread out messages. So when GRA is not in every office or every constituency or every, so the Foreign Service carry our message across the country to nooks and crannies of the country. Now, National Council for Civic Education, they are the political committee. They are supposed to teach on people's civic responsibilities. Now, taxation is a civic responsibility to every citizen. So they are also moving from market to church to various social activities to tell people what tax is about and what tax that for them and why they should all pay their taxes. So they are also helping us. So we are collaborating with information and the national. So I believe this year will make big strides in Ashanti region.
After the launch of the Tax Identification Week, the authority initiated registration of institutions and companies in the region. Mr. Sechidodu says the intensified education has increased voluntary tax compliance.
Just before we finish, JoyNews invited us to go and register 4,000 staff, and we're going to do that one. Kumpanochi want us to come and register 3,000 staff. We are moving there. Some of the staff will register all the banks in Kumasi. They are still in the field trying to register all the bank workers. And then Cocoa or something, they call it. In fact, today I got another letter from SNIT. Those who wanted to come. It's like now we are going organization. We're going to register all the workers. So I'm sure by the end of the year, to create phenomena. The response is yeah. Last year we did some amount of work, and this year we are intensifying it, and we believe we can see changes. You can see it moving. People who are paying 300,000 now are paying 4,000. You see the improvement. People are paying higher figures now, and people are cooperating. People willingly come to our office. See, people also call you. They want to understand. They want to know. They want to. So we invite them and they come, and people are also filing their returns. So which means that the interest has now come. For education, people are not well informed.
Prince Apia reporting.
The Bank of Ghana has hinted of the passage of a new payment systems and services bill to help regulate the insurance sector. This would help improve collaboration between banks and insurance companies. This came up at the Pan-African Bancassurance and Alternative Distribution Conference in Accra. 50 participants in the insurance industry across Africa converged to deliberate on best ways of improving insurance penetration in the country. The conference was under the theme, Innovate or Die.
At the conference, Director and Head of Payment Systems Department at the Central Bank, Dr. Seto Amediku, says the Bank of Ghana will be laying before Parliament the Payment Systems and Services Bill, which is aimed at facilitating the provision of insurance services by the various banks in the country. According to him, the act, if passed into law, will not only enhance financial inclusion, but also broaden the insurance penetration rate in the country.
After the passage of the bill, we expect to see more collaborations among the insurance company, banks and fintechs, where insurance penetration can be deepened. Currently, as we are aware, most Ghanaians only take the motor insurance, which is compulsory by law. But life and the health is an area that needs to be deepened, so our people can have access to insurance products. So through the bill, we expect more collaboration between the insurance company and the banking sector.
The conference attracted some players in the insurance industry who raised concerns over the possible increase in the minimum capital requirements of insurance companies. Last year, the National Insurance Commission, NIC, met with the Finance Ministry to introduce a minimum capital requirement for insurance companies, which currently stands at 15 million Ghana cedis. But chairman of the conference and managing director of Mainstream Reinsurance Company Limited, Professor Adum Frimpong, is against such a move.
Strengthening the capital requirements or building the confidence of consumers is very, very necessary. But what I'm trying to say is that all these years we were there, all what we have to look at it critically is the monetary aspect of it. Even if the capital is small and you are monitoring it, you are operating within your capabilities. then I don't think any problem will come. But if you sit down for years before certain things happen badly before we, go into it, that's where the problem. So I think Bank of Ghana needs to strengthen the capital base, so also the National Insurance Commissioner, so also the SEC, and you have 4 regulators. All the regulators, they need to ensure that the capital base is, adequate. But that does not mean that at any moment in time they increase. If you continue to do that, it means you are driving the local entrepreneurs away. Because the foreigners, when they bring in dollars and they change it, it can cover about 2 or 3 times of the capital requirements. What about we, the local entrepreneurs?
The Pan-African Bancassurance and Alternative Distribution Conference was organized under the theme Innovate or Die.
Now, after several postponements, the mobile interoperability is now set to be launched next week by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. This would allow subscribers send mobile money across all platforms without any challenge. Let's get some understanding on how crucial this service is to the development of the entire financial system.
Of this mobile money interoperability has been described as one of the groundbreaking services that will transform the entire financial sector. It is a collaboration between the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement System (GIPS), the telcos, and the financial institutions. It is expected to aid the country's plan of moving towards an era where little fiscal cash is used to pay for transactions, or better still, a cash-light society. According to GIPS, all is set for the service to take off after the launch by the Vice President. The mobile money interoperability is, however, only the first phase of a bigger project that will ensure on all platforms that the public can transfer funds from their bank accounts to mobile money networks as well as to eSwish cards.
Banking consultant Anotu Champon says the establishment of mobile kiosks by telecoms giant MTN will not disrupt operations of traditional banks. Anotu Champon, who was speaking to JoyNews, noted the advent of MTN's mobile money kiosks will rather boost confidence in mobile money transactions.
Some mobile money merchants have kicked against plans by MTN to introduce self-providing mobile money machines. MTN is currently rolling out the self-service kiosk on a pilot basis and insists it's only restricted to buying airtime and SIM card recharges. But the merchants are concerned the plan, when executed, will push them out of business.
When they were bringing the ATM, they did not consult anybody because at first we did not have any association. But now that we have an association, they have to sit down with us to talk 1 or 2 things and amend some of the things, because the ATM they are bringing is going to bring some of the merchants out. As they are saying, they said it's not going to take them out of business. But we are here to put 1 or 2 things, go to Bank of Ghana and know what to do.
Currently, there's an introduction of ATM, which the telecos are saying is not a threat. However, it's a threat, because if that ATM is to come to being, it's going to render us redundant, and we are not going to make in our 10 city, 2 city, 3 city that we normally use to meet our daily needs.
Meanwhile, a section of the public has also been expressing mixed reactions to the decision.
It's good. It's good for me. Only that, when machines begins to be introduced, now the human face aspect begins to diminish. So it means that people are going to lose their businesses, because, the mobile one, the human one also provide a lot of employment for a lot of people. That is where my fear is.
I don't think it can help us. Maybe some of us like that, maybe we cannot do things our own. So if the machine did, I cannot go and tell the machine to do that thing for me. So if I come with the person is there, I just give him my detail, everything. He just done it perfect for me to go.
Banking consultant Anotu Champon, however, believes it will rather boost confidence in the mobile money transactions.
I see it as complementary. Let's just establish the fact that MTN is in the telecom industry, regulated by the NCA, and the banks are in the banking industry, regulated by Bank of Ghana. The ground rule is that if you're in an industry such as telecom and you want to cross over to the banking sector, you need the prior approval of the regulator. On top of that, you have to partner an existing financial institution, in which case a universal bank. My investigation establishes that the telco, i.e. MTN, has already applied together with an existing universal bank for that product to be launched. But what is in the system now, I believe, is 3 prototypes. And before you launch any product, it's insightful that you have a pilot basis to test it. So it's on pilot basis to see whether it will work. If it doesn't work, then your investment is a sunk cost and you write it off.
You're watching Business Live. We are turning to other news now, and the Managing Director of Biochemical Products Ghana Limited, Professor Sami Saki, has encouraged young entrepreneurs to inculcate the habit of nursing seedlings for plantain and banana cultivation. The company, which develops suckers using the tissue culture technique, believes the enterprise could prove profitable for young people who are looking to explore gaps in the agribusiness sector. JoyNews' Adelaide Arthur reports.
Plantain, banana, yam, and cassava are major food crops in Ghana. Often, farmers have to save parts of the crops to replant, but the challenge is that farmers are unlikely to get appreciable yields or desired traits for the crops if they use this method. With the tissue culture technique, however, scientists say they are able to develop disease-free varieties of major food crops that do not produce seeds. When cells or tissues of such crops are exposed to the appropriate chemical and physical conditions, they grow and multiply, creating genetically identical plants. For more than 10 years, the Biochemical Products Ghana Limited at Ningo Pram in the Greater Accra region has been reproducing suckers for banana and plantain varieties like Apem and Apintu using the tissue culture technique. The unavailability of space to accommodate the thousands of suckers developed, though, has been a problem. The company's managing director, Professor Sami Saki, believes there are great prospects in nursing plantain and banana seedlings and is urging participants of the Cosmos Agri-tech Challenge to take it up.
You as young people, when I hear about 84,000 young graduates going to look for 500 jobs at immigration, I think, what are we doing? Because really, when I leave this place, do you see my car there? Would you believe I've been putting plants in soil and here? Would you think that? No. And then I'll go to the university and go and teach. So it's not I like vernacular, but in Ghana we say ajomoda ajemo to mo pa. You know. If somebody insults you, do you think it would?
The school feeding program, he says, offers another market potential where demand for bananas to enhance the nutrition of school children could be met.
The state has a commitment to provide for all children nutrition. So that's why we have a school feeding program. Now, if you decide that young people, agripreneurs and so on, this is a market that is open for them. It means when they go and invest in planting, the market is guaranteed. And maybe the way you control is by deciding what crops you want. So you can say that you want bananas, but you also want plantains, you want yams, because these are the crops which your farmers are growing and for which the market is limited.
Opportunities, according to Professor Saki, abound in the seed industry, where young entrepreneurs can explore and fill in the gaps. Adelaide Arthur, JoyNews, Pram.
Well, still in the Agric space, and farmers will now be able to determine the yield of their crops using a mobile phone as a new application is introduced to boost agriculture. Principal Research Scientist at the Crops Research Institute of the CSIR, Beloved Mensa Jomeku, says the difficulty farmers and scientists face in disease control and crop estimation is over. Lava FM's Chrissy Deborah has more in this report.
Isaac Asiate is a plantain farmer. He examines the leaves of young plantain tree for symptoms of diseases. The symptoms are mostly not easy to determine, so expert touch is needed.
Times when there are the diseases, some of the farms are far from the town. So if you invite the Agric officers, they will not come in time. They come whenever they like. So maybe before they come, some of the crops are destroyed.
Agricultural survey statistics indicate world agriculture average losses to plant diseases in monetary values is about 16% annually. Heavy pest incidents might involve losses of between 30 and 40% in Africa.
Amount of wheat, let's say.
At the Crops Research Institute, Dr. Mark Mulalino is trying to determine disease paths of a leaf using a mobile phone.
Lines here are not detected.
He uses an application known as Leaf Doctor, used quantitatively to assess plant disease intensity. The app's operation is based on the RGB color model, which comes from the initials of 3 additive primary colors: red, green, and blue. It has the red, green, and blue light fused together in various ways to reproduce a broad array of colors. The main purpose of the RGB color model is for sensing, representation, and display of images in electronic systems. They include television, computer, and conventional photography. Leaf Doctor app therefore allows users to collect photographs of plant organs such as leaves. They then measure the percentage of tissue area deceased. The assessment data and photographs may be sent by email to any recipient.
Healthy parts should be green. The non-healthy parts are going from yellow to brown. So you have a clear difference in color. And so we are trying to use the color feature in order to distinguish between the healthy parts and the non-healthy parts.
If you want to have good
The European team from Jülich Research Center is also training scientists and farmers in crop yield estimates using mobile technology. This method, for some time now, was possible only after destroying the plant. Dr. Tobias Wojciechowski.
This would benefit the society in whole. Farmers especially can use this to test new management systems if it works in their environment.
Farmers will also be able to tell when crops are due for irrigation with a mobile phone equipped with temperature measuring camera. Dr. Onu Muller.
Transpire. So if a plant is very transpiring, so losing a lot of water, it is cool. When it doesn't lose any water, it gets warm. So by measuring the temperature of the leaf, you can identify that.
The scientists are hopeful it would improve agricultural landscape of the country. Beloved Mensa Jomeku is a principal scientist, Crop Research Institute.
You can just look at your young maize, and with the camera on your phone, you can easily take photograph and attach it to the application, and you'll be able to know the amount of yield you will get at the end.
Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.
We are moving on to our interview of the day tonight. The Association of Ghana Industries is urging government to put some policy measures in place to ensure that the country benefits a great deal from the recently signed Continental Free Trade Agreement. According to Chief Executive of the association, Seth Chuma Kwabwa, there is the need for government to expedite action on its flagship program, the One District, One Factory.
The problem comes when you don't prepare well enough, you don't develop your productive capacities, you are not able to identify areas where you have competitive advantage and take full advantage of it. When that happens, then you become a loser. And I think that is what we should guard against. But in general, the way it works is that once it's continental free trade for all Africans, I'm sure to cover all products as well.
So finally, you have raised some concerns though, but for you, how would you leverage, how would the AGI leverage on this particular agreement to ensure that it thrives?
Well, that's why we strongly believe in the 1D1F1 concept, because the principle is that create as many factories as possible, go to the district, each district that you have peculiar products that could be produced by that district, have a factory to process it. You must have some level of improvement in technology, you must have the raw material base to supply the factories. It means our agricultural dynamics must work well, because most of the one district, one factory activities are agribusiness. And for agribusiness to work, you must have the agricultural sector feeding it with regular, reliable, and consistent supply of raw materials. That has to happen. And then some financial arrangement to set up the factories.
And that's it for our program tonight, my friends. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. We've got all the day's latest stories. That story brought you about the Bank of Ghana improving insurance penetration under the Payment Systems and Services Bill. You also find the story about Fort Oil selling some Nigerian assets and pulling out of the country. Plus, Ghana Airports Company confirming completion of the KIA Terminal 3 project. Plus, all the videos just in case you missed out on any of our bulletins. My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for watching.